Eric, are you busy? No.
You don't have your mask on.
The Valkyrie is a 58-foot salmon seiner fishing out of Homer, Alaska. It was built in 1989, and now 30 plus years later, it's time for new engines, new transmissions, and new shafts. When I think about repower design, I consider the propellers first. They are the business end of the boat, after all. The prop is the focus of the whole drivetrain. The shaft needs to have adequate torsional strength to keep it from twisting in two. And the propeller needs to be sized adequately to convert torque, which is rotational power, into thrust. The props and shafts need to be engineered along with the engines and gears to produce a coherent drivetrain. That's our job.
Yoke behind, and then just tightening this guy up.
Yep.
Pretty much everything you can get, and then heat. But it's dangerous because it'll fly off.
Right, it'll get you.
It'll be whatever it is. The other one popped off with pretty minimal heat. But keep clear. Right. It might let go before the heat. It'll come flying at you. Okay, that might be enough, huh? Right. So this is just a heating torch. I really don't even, we hardly ever do a cutting torch. Right. I got a fast cutter and other things, but I use this for heating a lot.
The Valkyrie has 6140 luggers in it, and they were quite a hot item back in the day. But they got 25,000 hours on them even since the rebuild, so it's time for those to come out. They're hard to find parts for nowadays, hard to service them. We're going to replace them with some John Deere 6090s, which is a 6-cylinder, 9-liter engine. The new engines have a Tier 3 rating, which means they meet the current standards for clean emissions.
Inspector off the rear motor mounts is like a safety up to that D-ring. 2 come-alongs. Picked it up just a little bit, and then just adjusted the attitude of the engine and made it come along. Cranked up on the back.
I feel lucky to have spent my whole career here inside the Northern Enterprises Boatyard in Homer, Alaska. It's like out at the edge of the world. There have been a lot of challenges that have shaped me and formed me, and never a dull moment. When we decide to replace the old with the new, there are certain key criteria that we look at, key components in that decision. I look at the shaft RPM at cruise speed and the current and then the potentially new engine. We also look at the torque curve and try to find what the torque of the engine will be at cruise. The RPM of the engine has a play in it, and then also, of course, the transmission that we choose, which we call the gear reduction, has a big play in that decision. I don't know why, but I still think it's fun to be on the demolition team when we're tearing apart the old systems and the old components. Over time, everything seems to have galled together or corroded together or rusted together. And it's a little bit of a trick tearing it all apart again. We work in various materials: aluminum, stainless steel, composites, adhesives, even just mechanical forces of nuts and bolts seem to lock up and need to be tore apart.
We can drill that out.
I'm supposed to hit the button. With that galling, if you can get that stud red hot inside the aluminum. The thing that I enjoy most about my work is the people that I work with. And the thing that I enjoy most about those people is the skill that they have. And the collective skill of a group of people really fascinates me. I used to think skill was this innate aptitude that somebody had, or a knack. But I've come to see it differently. Now I see skill as a learned ability that somebody acquires over time and effort, and that ability becomes competence, and then that competence becomes somehow second nature to that person, and that second nature becomes art. It's hard to analyze, it's super creative, and it's a lot of fun. Woo! Is that how it's done?
Yep. Broken.
this one. Good thing we have a cutoff wheel on hand. Here. Could we simply go underneath and use a punching up? Yes. That's not exciting.
There's something homeschoolish about this.
Yes, there it is. There it is.
Okay.
I tried to make one before.
How's it fit in?
It just goes here
On it just
so that you can pound it up. Yeah.
Heck yeah, that's cool.
The new exhaust system piping will be similar to the old. It'll be 6-inch Schedule 10 stainless, running from the mains, and 2.5-inch for the genset. And even though it's similar, I think it'll be a lot cleaner burn system. These new engines have sensors that tell the computer how to control the burn. There's sensors like the oxygen level sensor and back pressure sensor, which tells the computer how much hydrocarbon burn there is taking place, and then the computer makes adjustments on the fly. As much as I reminisce about the simple old motors that you could work on quite easily, these new engines are hard to beat. We will be replacing the KEEL coolers in the Valkyrie with larger coolers, even though the new engines have less horsepower than the existing engines. But all these modern engines now with the Tier 3 EPA ratings are running a bit hotter than previous engines. And that's giving them more efficiency, a little bit more horsepower, and a cleaner burn of the hydrocarbons and giving better emissions. But they do require a bit more cooling capacity. So we're going to try to run 180 degrees out of the engine into the coolers and come back with 155 degree Fahrenheit water coming from the cooler. These coolers have a mixing valve incorporated within them, so we'll be able to do some fine tuning after we get going. Before we can take measurements to build motor mounts and to bolt up the engine into the new engine room, we need to know where the crankshaft is going to be. Everything is based on the crankshaft location in the engine room, and so we build this imaginary line as the crankshaft, and once we know where that's going to be, we can measure down from the crankshaft in order to get our motor mount locations. And we can measure up from the crankshaft and make sure that the engine actually fits inside the engine room. So we need to know the crankshaft center, and we need to know from there where our motor mount holes are. Each engine will have 6 of these ISOFLEX soft mounts. They're adjustable. They take out a lot of the vibration. We have some welded mounts that we bolt to the engine, and I just hope I measured it right. You got to make them fit, Bill. I'm definitely impressed with Bill Greenstreet's crew. Obviously, it's not their first rodeo.
So that room down here. Yep. Good. 4 inches or so.
Okay, I'm bringing it down. Help yourself out.
Yep. Okay, we're sitting in the channel.
You like it, Jake?
Yeah, it's kind of
We're
big.
sitting heavy on the port side and on the inboard. Is that better? More, Jake? Or
Yeah, we can go more.
more? Okay.
So I'm real happy to see the main engines fitting in place, and I think reasonably close to where they need to be. The next step is to bring the gears in. The gears are called the ZF325A. They have electronic shifts and a live PTO on them for some auxiliary hydraulics.
The outside or the inside corner?
Check out the inside first.
Yep. Well, it looks like we're going
Looks
inside.
like we're going inside. I kind of like the inside better. I got her.
Soon we're going to start okay, let's try it. We got to took that in our hand. What's that?
Bring it toward the cabin some.
I gotta come down a little bit more. Then we can. Okay.
Actually, it might be easier.
Yeah, if you just come down a little bit, Jake, it's like almost to where it. A little more. More. There we go. It's like we've done that before, bud.
Once or twice.
Tim Martin owns TNT Marine, and we're going to put the boat in his shop to get it refinished. I call him Dr. Tim because he's going to fix up all the battle scars and wounds on the hull, and we get to finish the repower job while it's inside his shop. Thank you, Tim. It'll be fun working with you. I remember when wiring a boat was pretty much an afterthought. When the rest of the project was done, you'd run some wires and connect the dots. But nowadays, electrical design takes center stage on the overall design of the project. Especially with the electronics, there's quite a bit more complexity. We have to maintain a minimum voltage rating or the electronics might kick out, and that's complicated when the starters start the engine and there's an inrush current of maybe even 1,000 amps bringing down the voltage. So all that has to be in mind as we're putting the electrical together. We're also considering the wire size and how many amps that wire can handle, and the wire length, trying to figure out how much voltage drop there is over a certain length of wire. And then finally also we're putting overcurrent protection on every wire, and so it gets a little bit complicated. Megan had the daunting task of designing and installing the electrical system for the engine room, as well as the control system for the engines. There are 3 helm stations on the boat, and of course it's a twin engine, so each helm station needs to speak to each engine. And then also we have the gears, which has electronic controls for forward and astern. And there's also a trolling valve on the gears, which is an electronic control. So quite a bit of communication and wire going on with that. Also just the standard DC systems of battery start and charge systems. Altogether we have 3 battery banks. There's 2 generators and 2 mains. There are 4 alternators. There's also a big battery charging system. And then we did a bit of AC shore power work. So quite a bit of wiring going on this project in a relatively small space. Meanwhile, TNT Marine is doing a bunch of repairs to the hull and getting it ready for paint. So they first tear all the old paint off and do a bunch of repairs, and then after that comes a primer coat of AWLGRIP 545 epoxy, several coats of that, and then fix that up, and then finally the top coats go on, which is an AWLGRIP. I think we got a royal blue here and some other colors, so it's looking really good.
Ooh, nice reflection.
Can I move now? Go over there like you're...
Yeah, the gloss is awesome.
From the ruins of today, we'll pick up the pieces and run.
We get the props and the shafts and the bearings from Tim Carr and his son Jeremiah over at Advanced Propeller. These shafts are an Aquamet 22, which is a high-strength alloy. They're stainless steel with high chromium, high manganese, and high nickel contents. They are 2.5-inch diameter and about 23 feet long. We have 3 bearings in each shaft log. And so when we get to a bearing, we have to roll it to try to get it to pop up into the bearing so we can continue to push it forward.
I think we can rig power tools now.
Okay. Enough of this human power. All right, 1, 2, 3.
These shafts are 5 times stronger than what is necessary under the standard operating conditions for this application. So we call this a safety factor of 5 times stronger.
Okay, down. A little more. There we go.
We're in. Need to bring the end a little starboard, just a little bit. There you go.
Yep, yeah. Oh, there it is. There's a bearing in the middle.
Yep. Oh, okay.
This one's going a lot easier.
Oh, thanks for jinxing. Hey.
Swallow.
Somebody lined it up perfectly.
Sorry, hold it.
I feel like we just hit something.
Yeah, we probably just, there's 3 bearings, we probably just hit the
Torque is a rotational power applied to the shaft by the engine, and torsion is a twisting effect from the torque of the engine trying to deform the shaft. And so the torsional strength of the shaft is that shaft's ability to withstand the twisting loads. The torsional strength of this shaft is 63,000 psi, so about 5 times more than we expect we need.
Are we in the 3rd bearing, we think?
I think so. It was moving before we got.
Can he see that shaft yet? Hey, Aaron. Can he see the shaft?
I'll put more and you get it going on. Yeah. So you said it's just coming up to the shaft. It's a village. That was pretty smart. Got it. Okay, did we soak that thing yet?
I probably need to.
Tony's got more spit.
Yep. I don't know.
All right, is Misha ready over there? Ready, fish! Just keep an eye on the other. Well, we tightened it all the way. What we got? I think we're done. Hey, George. Hi, Misha. No, I will not catch you. Oh, I'll catch that though.
I'll catch you, Misha.
I'll get out of the way.
Some get hooked the day they're born. Some fall into it as time moves on. Some are defenseless when Cupid strikes. But I've been heartless ever since I opened my eyes. I'm gonna run from love. Yeah, I'm gonna run from love. Ain't nobody gonna get me to slow it down. I'm gonna run from love. Some are weary and some are lost. Some keep their spirits up at any cost. Some pay the price and some only talk. But I've been feeling nothing since the day I could walk. I'm gonna run from love. Yeah, I'm gonna run from love. Ain't nobody gonna get me to slow it down. I'm gonna run from love. Yeah. I'm gonna run. I'm gonna run from love. Run from love. Yeah, I'm gonna run from love. Ain't nobody gonna get me to slow it down. I'm gonna run from love. I'm gonna run from love. I'm gonna run from love. Ain't nobody gonna get me to slow it down. I'm gonna run from love. Ain't nobody gonna get me to slow it down. I'm gonna run from love. Ain't nobody gonna get me to slow it down. I'm gonna run from love.
Finally, it's launch day, which is sea trial day. And so even though we've tested everything on shore, or most everything, there's only certain things you can do while it's in the water. So within a half hour, we have it up to full RPM, 2400. We burn the paint off the exhausts and check all the parameters of the engine. And everything's looking pretty good. I've had a lot of fun being a part of bringing FPT engines to Alaska. We have several models from 420 horsepower to 1,000 horsepower. They are my new favorite engine. They have excellent electronics on board. They are compact in size. The power to weight ratio is very good, and the price is good. And it looks like we have several more sea trials to do here coming up.